There are 4 gates to power that most men leave unguarded. Machiavelli never wrote their names in his famous work, but he whispered them in the margins of history. Your mouth, your mind, your mood, your money. Guard these 4, and you become unconquerable. Lose even one, and you bleed influence until there is nothing left. This is not philosophy for the gentle. This is architecture for those who understand that life is not a conversation. It is a negotiation. And you are either the terms or you are the cost. If you have ever felt the sting of a word you should not have spoken, if you have ever watched your emotions betray you in a room that was watching, if you have ever felt your mind eat itself with worry while others slept in peace, or if you have ever let money control your decisions instead of the reverse, then you are standing at the threshold of something forbidden. Subscribe now, because what comes next is not repeated. This knowledge does not beg for your attention. It simply waits for those ready to take it. Let me tell you about a man Machiavelli once observed from a distance. Not a prince, not a merchant, a diplomat in Florence who had everything: wealth, access, the ear of powerful families. But he had one flaw. He could not stop talking. In every room, he filled the silence. He shared his strategies, his doubts, his aspirations. He thought this made him charming, transparent, trustworthy. Within 2 years, he had been outmaneuvered by quieter men. His ideas were stolen before he could execute them. His vulnerabilities were catalogued and weaponized. He died in exile, bitter, convinced the world had conspired against him. It had not. He had simply left the first gate unguarded. His mouth. The mouth is the gate most men open widest and defend least. Every word you speak is a piece of intelligence you hand to the world. Every confession is a map to your weakness. Every passionate declaration is a forecast of where you can be manipulated. Machiavelli understood this with cold clarity. He wrote that men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that the deceiver will never lack victims. Your mouth is the primary tool of your own deception, not by others, but by yourself. You speak to feel connected, to be liked, to appear intelligent. But in doing so, you hand away leverage. Silence is not the absence of power. It is the presence of control. When you speak less, others fill the void. They reveal themselves while you remain hidden. They assume, they project, they miscalculate. Your silence becomes a mirror in which they see only their own insecurity. Have you ever noticed that the most dangerous people in any room are often the quietest? Comment below if you have ever been in a conversation where you said too much and regretted it later. That moment of regret is your instinct telling you that you just lost a battle you did not know you were fighting. Mastering your mouth begins with a single practice. Pause. Between the thought and the word, insert a gate. Ask yourself, does this word give me power or take it? Does it reveal me or protect me? Does it create dependency in others or in myself? If you cannot answer with certainty, do not speak. Let the silence do the work. Silence makes others uncomfortable, and discomfort makes people move. They offer information. They negotiate against themselves. They seek your approval, which means they have already given you status. But there is a subtlety here. Mastering your mouth does not mean becoming mute. It means becoming intentional. There is a difference between the man who cannot speak and the man who chooses when to speak. The latter is feared. The former is dismissed. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. But fear does not come from volume. It comes from unpredictability wrapped in calm. When your words are rare, they carry weight. When they are constant, they become noise. Now let me ask you a question that has no comfortable answer. How many times have you spoken just to avoid the discomfort of silence? How many opportunities have you lost because you filled space instead of holding it? This is where most people fail the first test of power. They mistake activity for influence. They think the one talking is the one winning. But in every negotiation, in every conflict, in every relationship, the person who needs to speak less is the person with more options. And options are the currency of freedom. Your mind is the second gate, and it is the one that kills most men from the inside. Machiavelli observed that men in general judge more by the eyes than by the hands, because everyone is in a position to watch. Few are in a position to come in close touch with you. Your mind is where you touch yourself. It is the only battlefield no one else can see. And because it is invisible, most men let it become a war zone. Worry, anxiety, doubt, regret. These are not emotions. They are occupying forces. And if you do not govern your mind, these forces will govern you. Here is the trap. Your mind was designed to protect you, not to empower you. It scans for threat. It rehearses disaster. It replays failure. This was useful when survival meant avoiding predators. But now, in a world where most danger is social, financial, and psychological, your mind has become a liability. It creates enemies that do not exist. It fears losses that have not happened. It drains you of energy fighting shadows. Machiavelli would call this the failure to adapt your warfare to the terrain. You are still fighting lions when the real threat is rumor. Mastering your mind requires something most people are never taught: the ability to observe your thoughts without obeying them. Thoughts are not orders. They are suggestions. Your mind will suggest catastrophe. It will suggest inadequacy. It will suggest that you are one mistake away from ruin. But you are not obligated to believe it. The man who can watch his mind lie to him and smile is the man who has won the most important war. The war of internal sovereignty. Let me tell you what happens when you lose this war. You begin to make decisions based on fear instead of strategy. You avoid risk not because it is unwise, but because your mind has convinced you that you are fragile. You become reactive. You operate from a place of scarcity. And scarcity is the opposite of power. Machiavelli knew that princes who thought only of defense eventually lost everything. The same is true of your mind. If you use it only to defend against imagined threat, you will never build anything worth defending. Subscribe if you are starting to see the pattern. These 4 gates are not separate. They are connected. A mouth that cannot stay closed is often attached to a mind that cannot stay calm. And both are symptoms of the 3rd gate. Your mood. Your mood is your weather. And most men live as if they have no control over the climate of their own soul. They wake up anxious and call it Monday. They snap at others and call it stress. They sink into despair and call it realism. But mood is not something that happens to you. It is something you allow. Machiavelli wrote that the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Your mood determines which animal you are in any given moment. And if you cannot choose, you are neither. You are prey. Here is what most people do not understand. Mood is not the result of circumstance. It is the result of focus. You feel what you feed. If you feed your mind with resentment, comparison, and complaint, your mood will rot. If you feed it with purpose, progression, and possibility, your mood will sharpen. This is not optimism. This is not toxic positivity. This is strategic emotional management. Because your mood is contagious. It sets the tone of every room you enter. It determines whether others feel safe around you or destabilized by you. And in a Machiavellian frame, you want others slightly destabilized. Not chaotic. Just uncertain enough that they look to you for clarity. Have you ever been around someone whose mood was so heavy it changed the air in the room? Comment below if you have ever been that person. Most people have. And the moment you recognize it is the moment you can change it. Mood mastery is not about being happy all the time. It is about being controlled all the time. It is about not letting your internal state leak into your external presence unless you choose it. This is what Machiavelli meant when he said a prince must learn to be able not to be good. Not evil. Just controlled. Able to deploy emotion when it serves, and withhold it when it does not. Now we arrive at the 4th gate. The one most philosophy ignores because it makes people uncomfortable. Your money. Machiavelli was not shy about this. He understood that morality without resources is theater. Virtue without wealth is decoration. You can be as disciplined and wise as you want, but if you are financially dependent, you are not free. You are a philosopher on a leash. And the moment your survival is threatened, all your principles become negotiable. Money is not the root of evil. Dependence is. When you need money desperately, you make desperate decisions. You take jobs that drain you. You tolerate disrespect. You align with people you do not trust. You become a servant to urgency instead of a master of strategy. Machiavelli observed that mercenaries are useless and dangerous because they have no loyalty, only payment. The same is true of a man who works only for money. He is a mercenary in his own life. And the moment someone offers him more, or threatens his income, he folds. Mastering your money means two things. First, you must earn without desperation. This requires skill, positioning, and reputation. You must become valuable in a way that is not easily replaced. Notice I did not say work harder. I said become valuable. There is a difference. Hard work without strategy is just exhausting. Value without visibility is just invisible. Machiavellian money mastery is about controlling the perception of your necessity. If people believe they need you more than you need them, you set the terms. If they believe the reverse, you are a cost to be minimized. Second, you must spend without addiction. Most men earn to spend. They acquire things to signal status. They buy comfort to numb dissatisfaction. This is not wealth. This is slavery with better furniture. The Machiavellian approach is different. Spend on things that multiply your capacity. Spend on health, on knowledge, on access, on tools that leverage your time. Do not spend to impress. Spend to expand. Because the goal is not to look rich. The goal is to be free. And freedom comes from having more options than you need and fewer dependencies than you fear. Let me tell you a story about two men Machiavelli would have recognized. Both earned the same amount. One spent everything. New clothes. New dinners. A car that turned heads. He felt powerful. He felt seen. But when his industry collapsed, he had nothing. No savings. No network that wasn't transactional. No skills that transferred. He went from appearance of power to begging for work in 60 days. The second man lived below his means. Not because he was cheap. Because he was strategic. He saved. He invested. He built relationships based on respect, not expense. When the same collapse happened, he had options. He could wait. He could pivot. He could take risks others could not afford. One man controlled his money. The other was controlled by it. Guess which one Machiavelli would have called a prince. So now we return to the framework. 4 gates. Mouth, mind, mood, money. Most people leave all 4 open and wonder why their lives feel like a battlefield they are losing. They speak too much and reveal their strategy. They think too much and exhaust their will. They mood swing too much and lose the respect of others. They spend too much and trap themselves in dependence. Then they call it bad luck. They call it injustice. They call it the system. But Machiavelli would call it something else. Failure to govern. Let me give you the first law of all 4 gates. You cannot master what you do not monitor. You must become aware of when you speak without intention, when you spiral without cause, when your mood shifts without your permission, when you spend without strategy. Awareness is the beginning of sovereignty. You cannot change what you cannot see. And most people are blind to their own patterns because they are too busy defending them. Here is the exercise. For 7 days, track every time you speak when you did not need to. Track every time your mind loops on a worry that has no solution in the present. Track every time your mood drops and you do not know why. Track every dollar that left your hand and ask if it brought you closer to freedom or closer to dependence. Do not judge it. Just observe it. Because the act of observation begins to change the behavior. You cannot stay unconscious to something you are measuring. Now I know what you are thinking. This sounds exhausting. This sounds like control for the sake of control. And maybe it is. But let me ask you, what is the alternative? To drift. To react. To be shaped by every conversation, every thought, every feeling, every transaction? That is not freedom. That is being a leaf in the wind. Machiavelli wrote for princes, but his logic applies to any person who refuses to be a subject in their own life. You are either the author of your conditions, or you are the character in someone else's story. Comment below which of the 4 gates you struggle with most. Be honest, because the gate you avoid is the gate where your power is leaking. And until you name it, you cannot guard it. Let me go deeper into the mouth, because this is where most people lose the game before it even begins. There are 3 types of speech that destroy you: complaint, justification, and prophecy. Complaint is when you speak about problems without proposing solutions. It signals that you are overwhelmed. It trains others to see you as a victim. And victims are not given power. They are given sympathy, which is the cheapest currency in human exchange. Justification is when you explain yourself to people who have not asked. It signals insecurity. It shows that you need their approval. And the moment you need approval, you have given them authority over you. Prophecy is the most dangerous. It is when you speak about what you are going to do before you do it. You announce your plans. You declare your goals. You share your vision. And in doing so, you create accountability to people who have no investment in your success. Worse, you give them time to sabotage, to compete, or to dismiss you. Machiavelli would tell you to move in silence. Let your results speak. Let your execution be the announcement. Because the world does not reward intention. It rewards outcome. And every word you speak before the outcome is a tax on your energy and a gift to your competitors. There is a reason why the most powerful people rarely tell you what they are building until it is already built. They understand that attention before achievement is a liability. It creates pressure. It invites skepticism. It costs focus. So they stay quiet. They work in the shadows. And when they emerge, it is with something undeniable. That is the Machiavellian mouth. It does not seek permission. It does not perform progress. It simply arrives with power. Now let us talk about the mind, because this is the gate that requires the most discipline and gives the most leverage. Your mind will try to convince you of 3 lies. First, that you are behind. Second, that you are not enough. Third, that it is too late. These lies are not unique to you. They are universal. They are the operating system of the fearful mind. And they are designed to keep you safe, which means keeping you small. The antidote is not affirmation. It is not pretending you are ahead when you are not. It is not lying to yourself about your capacity. The antidote is indifference to the timeline. Machiavelli operated in a world where fortunes changed overnight. Allies became enemies. Victories became traps. He learned that the mind must be flexible, not attached. You are not behind because there is no race. You are not inadequate because adequacy is contextual. It is not too late because time is only a limit if you believe in a single path. The Machiavellian mind holds strategy loosely and principles tightly. It adapts. It does not break. Let me give you a practice that changed everything for me. Every time your mind offers you a fear, ask it one question. Is this happening right now, or am I rehearsing? 90% of mental suffering is rehearsal. You are practicing a conversation that has not happened. You are imagining a disaster that has not occurred. You are losing a fight that exists only in your head. And all of that rehearsal drains the energy you need for the actual event. Machiavelli would call this a waste of your garrison. You are deploying your troops against a phantom army while the real threat goes unguarded. Here is the shift. Use your mind as a laboratory, not a courtroom. Do not judge yourself. Experiment with yourself. Try a new behavior. See what happens. Adjust. Try again. This removes the moral weight from failure. Failure is not a verdict. It is data. And data makes you sharper. The man who is afraid to fail is the man who cannot learn. And the man who cannot learn is already dead. He just has not stopped moving yet. Subscribe now if this is starting to rewire something in you. Because what comes next is about mood. And mood is where most people surrender their power without even knowing it. Your mood is a signal. It tells you what you are focused on and what you believe about your capacity to change it. Bad mood equals belief in helplessness. Good mood equals belief in agency. But here is the trick. You can manufacture agency. You do not need to wait for circumstances to improve. You can take one small action that proves to yourself that you are not stuck. Make your bed. Clean your desk. Send one message. Lift something heavy. Write one sentence. The action does not have to be big. It just has to be yours. Because agency is not a feeling. It is a practice. And the more you practice it, the more your mood follows. Machiavelli understood that morale determined the outcome of battles more than resources did. A motivated army with less could defeat a demoralized army with more. Your mood is your morale. And if you let it decay, no strategy will save you. You will have the plan, the knowledge, the opportunity, and you will still fail because you will not have the energy to execute. Mood is fuel, and you are either producing it or you are leaking it. Here is what most people get wrong. They think mood is something you feel, but mood is something you build. You build it with sleep, with nutrition, with movement, with sunlight, with silence, with music, with association. You build it by avoiding people who drain you and spending time with people who sharpen you. This is not self-care. This is strategic conditioning. You are engineering your internal state so that when the moment comes, you are ready. Not hopeful. Ready. Let me tell you about a period in my life when I lost control of my mood. I was working too much, sleeping too little, eating whatever was fast. I stopped moving my body. I spent hours in digital noise. And slowly, without realizing it, I became irritable, cynical. I snapped at people I cared about. I resented work I used to love. I felt like I was doing everything right and getting everything wrong. Then one day I realized I had stopped building my mood. I was waiting for life to make me feel good. And life does not do that. Life is neutral. It gives you conditions. You choose the response. So I changed the inputs. I started walking every morning. I cut out the news. I ate real food. I went to bed at the same time. I removed people from my life who only talked about problems. Within 2 weeks, my mood stabilized. Within a month, I had energy I had not felt in years. Nothing external had changed. My circumstances were the same. But my capacity to meet those circumstances had multiplied. That is mood mastery. It is not about being happy. It is about being potent. Now we come to money. And I want to say this clearly because it makes people uncomfortable. If you do not control your money, someone else will. Your employer, your creditors, your family, the algorithm, the market. You will be a passenger in your own financial life. And passengers do not choose the destination. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must have no other object or thought, nor acquire skill in anything, except war, its organization, and its discipline. In the modern world, money is war. And if you are not studying it, organizing it, and disciplining yourself around it, you have already lost. Let me break this into something actionable. There are 3 financial positions: survival, stability, sovereignty. Most people live in survival. They earn just enough to cover expenses. One bad month and they are in crisis. This is not living. This is hostage negotiation with your own bills. The goal is to move from survival to stability. Stability means you have margin. 3 months of expenses saved. No high-interest debt. A budget you actually follow. You are not free yet, but you are no longer desperate. And desperation is what makes people do stupid things. Sovereignty is the 3rd level. This is when your assets generate enough passive income that your time is yours. You work because you want to, not because you have to. This is the Machiavellian ideal. Because sovereignty means options. And options mean you can say no. You can walk away. You can take risks others cannot afford. You can build long-term instead of scrambling short-term. This does not happen by accident. It happens by design. Here is the design. Earn more than you spend. Invest the difference. Repeat until the returns exceed your expenses. Sounds simple. It is. But simple is not easy. Because earning more requires skill and courage. Spending less requires discipline and identity shift. And investing requires patience and education. Most people fail at one of these three. They earn but they spend it all. They save but they never invest. They invest but they panic and sell at the wrong time. Machiavelli would say they have the ingredients but not the recipe. Let me give you the one money rule that changes everything. Every dollar you receive, you divide it before you spend it. 10% to investments, 10% to education, 10% to savings. The rest you live on. If you cannot live on 70% of what you earn, you are living above your means. And living above your means is a slow form of suicide. It feels good today. It kills you tomorrow. The Machiavellian does not optimize for today. He optimizes for optionality. And optionality requires surplus. I want you to comment below what percentage of your income you saved last month. Not what you wish you saved. What you actually saved. Because the gap between intention and action is where most people lose. They know what to do. They just do not do it. And the reason they do not do it is because they have not connected the behavior to their identity. They still see themselves as someone who earns and spends. Not someone who earns and builds. Identity drives behavior. Change the identity, and the behavior follows. Here is the identity shift. Stop seeing yourself as a consumer. Start seeing yourself as a capital allocator. Every dollar is a soldier. Every purchase is a deployment. Every investment is a campaign. You do not send soldiers into battles that do not matter. You do not waste resources on meaningless skirmishes. You deploy with intention. You measure the return. You adjust based on results. This is how the powerful think about money. Not as something to spend. As something to multiply. Now let me connect all four gates into a single frame. Because they are not separate. They are a system. When you master your mouth, you stop leaking information and energy. That conserved energy fuels your mind. When you master your mind, you stop wasting mental cycles on fear and distraction. That clarity stabilizes your mood. When you master your mood, you make better decisions. Better decisions lead to better financial outcomes. Better financial outcomes create freedom. And freedom allows you to protect all four gates without compromise. This is the upward spiral. Each gate reinforces the others. But the inverse is also true. Lose one gate and the others weaken. Speak too much and your mind fills with regret. Your mood sours. You make emotional purchases to feel better. Now you are financially stressed. Financial stress makes you desperate. Desperation makes you talk too much, trying to create opportunity through volume. And the cycle continues. Downward. Until you are trapped. Machiavelli observed that men nearly always walk in paths beaten by others and act by imitation. But they are rarely able to keep entirely to the paths of others or reach the ability of those they imitate. What he meant was this. Most people copy the surface. They see someone successful and they mimic the behavior. But they do not understand the system beneath it. They see the successful person speak confidently, so they speak more. But they do not see the silence that came before. They see the successful person take risks, so they gamble. But they do not see the preparation that made the risk calculated. They see the result. They do not see the gates. You now see the gates. The question is whether you will guard them. And guarding them is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. Every morning you wake up and you choose. Will I speak with intention today? Will I direct my mind or let it wander? Will I build my mood or let it decay? Will I deploy my money or waste it? These are not philosophical questions. They are tactical ones. And your life is the sum of your tactics. Let me give you a final story. There was a prince Machiavelli wrote about who inherited a weak state. Enemies on all sides. A treasury in debt. An army that did not respect him. Advisors who whispered behind his back. Everyone expected him to fail. And for the first year, he did nothing that looked like strength. He did not declare war. He did not make grand speeches. He did not spend money he did not have. Instead, he did something subtle. He stopped speaking in council unless he had something definitive to say. He stopped reacting to every rumor and every insult. He stabilized his own temperament so that no one could read him. And he quietly rebuilt his finances by cutting waste and rewarding competence. Within 3 years, everything changed. His silence made others uncertain. His calm made them cautious. His financial discipline allowed him to hire better soldiers. And when he finally did act, it was sudden and overwhelming. He took back territories. He removed disloyal advisors. He turned his weak state into a fortress. And everyone called it luck. They called it timing. But it was not. It was the result of guarding 4 gates while everyone else left theirs open. You are that prince. Your state is your life. Your enemies are distraction, doubt, desperation, and dependency. Your advisors are the voices in your head and the people around you. Some of them are loyal. Most are not. Your treasury is your energy, your attention, your time, and your money. And right now you get to decide. Will you guard the gates, or will you leave them open and hope for mercy? Mercy does not exist in the Machiavellian world. There is only power and the absence of it. There is only the man who governs himself and the man who is governed by everything else. You have been given the map. Mouth, mind, mood, money. 4 gates. 4 disciplines. 1 system. Here is your assignment. Not tomorrow. Today. Right now. Choose 1 gate. The one that is bleeding the most. Maybe you talk too much. Maybe your mind will not stop. Maybe your mood swings like a pendulum. Maybe your money controls you. Choose 1. And for the next 7 days, guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Not your physical life. Your sovereign life. The life where you make the rules instead of following them. Do not announce it. Do not post about it. Do not tell anyone what you are doing. Just do it. In silence. In discipline. In privacy. And at the end of 7 days, measure the difference. Notice what changes in how people respond to you. Notice what changes in how you respond to yourself. Then choose a 2nd gate. Then a 3rd. Then the 4th. And within a month, you will not recognize the person you were. Not because you became someone else. Because you became who you were supposed to be before the world taught you to leave the gates open. Machiavelli wrote that the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. What he meant was this. Do not make promises to others that you cannot keep. But more importantly, do not make promises to yourself that you will not keep. Because every broken promise to yourself is a piece of self-trust you will never get back. And without self-trust, none of this works. You can know the strategy. You can see the gates. But if you do not trust yourself to guard them, you will sabotage before you even begin. So let me ask you one last question. Do you trust yourself? Not someday. Not when you feel ready. Right now. Do you trust yourself to do what you say you will do? If the answer is no, then start smaller. Do not try to master all 4 gates at once. Master 1 hour. Guard your mouth for 1 conversation. Direct your mind for 1 task. Stabilize your mood for 1 morning. Spend intentionally for 1 day. Build the trust in increments. Because self-trust is not a feeling. It is a receipt. It is proof of past performance. And the more proof you stack, the more you believe. And belief changes everything. Subscribe now if you are ready to stop performing and start governing. Because this channel is not for people who want to feel inspired. It is for people who want to become dangerous. Dangerous to mediocrity. Dangerous to distraction. Dangerous to anyone who thought you would stay small. The world is not waiting for another voice. It is waiting for another force. Someone who does not beg. Does not explain. Does not collapse under pressure. Someone who holds the gates. And when you hold the gates, you do not need to announce yourself. People feel you before you speak. They respect you before you demand it. They make space for you because your presence is undeniable. That is the promise of the four gates. Not happiness, not comfort, not applause, but something better. Sovereignty. The kind of freedom that does not ask for permission. The kind of power that does not need to be loud. The kind of life where you are not reacting to the world. You are shaping it. Machiavelli once said, "Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be." Your willingness is being tested right now. Not by me. By you. You can close this video and go back to the life you had. Or you can take what you just heard and let it burn through every excuse you have been holding. The gates are in front of you. And no one is coming to guard them for you. So guard them. Starting now.